If you're an immigrant, your family back home does not care about you unless you're sending money.
We need to talk about black scammers.
Did they just need to pretend to be making more to sell more courses than the other guys?
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about scams. We've talked about it a couple times in my previous videos just a little bit, but I wanted to go in depth because especially in today's age of social media and everybody being online, it has become so easy to get scammed by random people all around the world. Now that the economy is not doing too well, a lot of people are hurting for money. People are more susceptible to getting scammed because they want to get ahead. They want to make a little extra money in a side hustle or just be able to pay their bills, and these scammers will take advantage of that. So I have many different forms of scams in this video and a lot of different examples of people getting caught doing these scams. So hopefully you guys could learn from this because I could only see this getting more prevalent in the next couple years. So we're going to start off with this video talking about MLMs with a twist because I've talked about MLMs a few times on this channel. A lot of people probably know what it is. You sell a product or service and you recruit more people to also sell that product or service under you, and then you get commissions from that and you build and build and build. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's just a straight up pyramid scheme. However, there are some of these MLMs that will take that premise and will manipulate certain types of people in the way of their culture, their gender, their race, just to be able to recruit more and make you believe that you're not getting scammed by these people. I have a video here from Cam James that will tell you all about it.
We need to talk about black scammers. One aspect of the scam economy that all of these miss though. This. Now, a multi-level marketing company is a pyramid scheme, cosplaying as a legitimate business via products and services. In Betting on Zero, the documentary I mentioned earlier, Bill Ackman, who produced it, alleged that minorities and low-income communities are disproportionately targeted by companies like Herbalife. Bet. So let's see how black-owned MLMs weaponize culture and empowerment to do the same damn thing to their own people. Meet Lydia Covington, pulling up in the Rolls Royce, looking like Rick Ross. Former CNA, high school dropout, and she talks about helping others create generational wealth. Her hustle is medical scrubs, as in she sells them, and she wants you to make millions of dollars selling them too. This shit is a mess, from the promo to the fact that she expects random people to be able to sell medical scrubs as a full-time business, to the fact that she charges $625 for a startup package. These schemes damage people's lives, sometimes permanently. In all the research I did for this video, there was families, friends, coworkers, people who trust the person who sold them this dream. And in many cases, it set them back for years, sometimes decades. There's parents that use their children's college fund to invest in these organizations and got completely wiped out. Trapping your own people in a cycle of poverty that they can't escape while selling them a dream of generational wealth, as Lydia would put it, is inherently evil.
So these are only a few clips. He goes much more in depth on his whole video and shows even more examples. So I will have it down in the description below if you wanted to watch the entire video, because there's a lot more than what I just showed you. These types of scammers will pull out any trick in the book. They want people who are vulnerable, trying to get people lower income class, gender, race, culture, anything to get you in the door and start paying for their packages and trying to make you actually believe that you'll make money. But in all honesty, you're just paying the person above you who recruited you, and you're just getting screwed. Up next, we have one of the financial YouTubers who's been in hot water for quite a long time now. I know some of my videos are finance related, but I'm never going to be the type of YouTuber who will advise you to pick these certain stocks or, certain cryptocurrencies or NFTs or any of that stuff, because it ends up turning into situations like we're about to see here.
Meet Kevin's a famous investing YouTuber, the Stock Doc, as he calls himself, over 1.8 million subscribers, 600 million views. But I recently stumbled across a few people harshly criticizing Meet Kevin, his stock picks, and the advice that he has been giving out.
Today we're going to be covering the world's stupidest investor, Kevin Paffrath.
He's one of the biggest grifters on YouTube.
He has a lack of understanding of what stock prices are based on.
Kevin is one of the biggest charlatans.
He's well aware that there was some suspicious activity, or at least something that raised some red flags, and yet continued to sponsor it because who cares? I want the money.
I had a sneaky suspicion his picks were going to be bad. I did not think that they would be this bad.
I think 80 is reasonable for Coinbase. projecting to 2024. So I think this is very reasonable. And if I use that estimate for my bear case, I get to a price target of about $584, which means if I pay $400 for the stock today, I'd get about a 9.93% compounded annual return for those 4 years in my bear case scenario, assuming transactional revenue goes to 0.
$580 as your bear case scenario. What is your bull case scenario?
So again, this is just a small clip of the whole video if you wanted to watch it. I'll have the link down in the description also. This is somebody who took advantage of the stock market just exploding during COVID when all the money was getting pumped into the economy and inflating all the numbers. So it made it really easy to just start picking a whole bunch of stocks that were going to go up in price because almost everything went up in price. And he would make videos with very large PDFs with a ton of numbers, and he was very good at speaking to the camera, making it look like he knew everything about the stock market and all of his picks. And then I only showed one example there, but in that video, there are tons and tons of picks that he projected would go to the moon and do really well and make a whole bunch of return that just absolutely tanked. And honestly, it only ended up actually hurting the people who watched his videos and took his advice, because he was making so much money off of those YouTube videos that his revenue offset any of the investing that he actually did himself. There's even more issues with it. Again, go check out that video if you wanted to see. But just in general, if you watch any financial YouTuber giving you advice on stock picks and anything pertaining to that kind of investing, you just have to do your own research in general. I'm not saying that every financial YouTuber is going to be like this and they're just trying to get views from you and get money from you, but you could be the one hurt in this scenario if any of their advice goes bad, because the more views they get, the more money they bring in. So they're just going to make the content that does the best on YouTube. And at least during that time when everybody was stuck inside during COVID, it was the next stock to go to the moon. You know, this one's going to 10x, this one's going to 100x, and everybody's going to be rich. So you just really do have to do your due diligence, especially with certain YouTubers like this who will flaunt their wealth, show how successful they are, and all you have to do to be like them is to buy their course for $500 or $1,000 or be a part of their Discord team and their NFT club. It's pretty crazy, but we're going to talk about Iman Gadzhi.
Iman Gadzhi portrays himself as an exemplary entrepreneur, a millionaire at just 18 years old and an $85 million net worth by 23. On the surface, he seems perfect, a little too perfect. He's as charismatic and polished as they come. And so far, he's escaped any kind of scrutiny. Until now. He seems to have a large and loyal audience, but that doesn't stop him from buying bot comments. Here on a mini viral video from a small YouTuber named Switzy, you can see Iman's name among several other botted comments. Looks like she forgot to remove Iman's name from her bot script. Switzy is also in Dubai, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if Iman hooked him up with this bot guy.
I made my first million at the ripe age of 18 years old.
Let's see how truthful this claim is.
And then I started scaling to like 50, 60, 70K a month.
The balance sheet shows this company had less than $300,000 in assets. Iman states that he closed his agency in 2022, so this begs the question I always ask in cases like these. If his agency was so profitable, why didn't he sell it? Iman posted on Facebook that he hates people who don't practice what they preach. Iman, since you make all of your money selling a course and running an agency, but don't run an agency yourself, does that mean you hate yourself? The biggest tell of these guys is that with each new wave, they add a figure to their marketing, constantly trying to one-up each other. First it was 6-figure, then 7, then 8, and soon to be 9. Do you really think that these industry expert gurus went from making a few $100,000s a year to becoming billionaires overnight? Or more likely, did they just need to pretend to be making more to sell more courses than the other guys?
So there are a ton of these kinds of people out there who will tell you they made massive amount of money in this sort of niche business, and you could do it too. All you need to do is buy my course, and then they'll one-up each other and go back and forth with different grifts. I didn't show it in this video, but there was also an NFT gentleman's club that was supposed to have access to Iman, and then everybody could start generating wealth like he did, and it seemed like he just never showed up to any of the Discord group talks that was promised if you did buy the NFTs, and they made millions off those NFTs, and it seems like everybody just ended up getting scammed. It's just a whole mess, and there's a lot of this going around now. now. Again, I will have a link down in the description if you want to check that out. A lot of Spencer Cornelia and CoffeeZilla's channels are just dedicated to trying to catch a lot of these scams in the act. So if you did want to go way more in depth on many people who are scammers, I would check out both of their channels. And we also have a clip here that I've talked about in previous episodes where it'll be like TikTokers or just a lot of other Instagram influencers that will talk about affiliate marketing being a really good venture to make a massive amount of money, especially in today's age with everybody on the phone, right? Like, it is pretty convincing. But we have somebody here that says that they can make $6,000 a month off of Home Depot, where all you need to do is go on the website, copy the link for like the oven or the fridge that you could buy there, and you copy and paste the links all over the internet, and somehow that's just going to turn into tons of people buying the product, and then you get commissions from that. It just doesn't make sense at all. And it is in that gray area because it's not 100% a scam, because technically it is possible for this to happen. However, if it was so easy to do this, then everybody would do it. Nobody would ever have to get a normal job again. We could just sit on our phones, we could sit on our computers, copy and paste a whole bunch of links for other people to buy crap, and then magically just make $1 million a year. It's just not possible, especially if you are pretty knowledgeable about affiliate marketing and how unbelievably competitive it is. For any of the people or the companies that do this for a living, you think you're just going to be able to go up and grab your phone and be able to compete with these types of people, but that's what a lot of these videos will try to make you believe, because if you like these people, then, you know, out of nowhere, oh look, here's a course that you could buy for my other type of product link or product marketing and creating digital products or any sort of these, you know, shady ventures that a lot of these influencers will do. Now, this next one I think is pretty dark because I've actually seen some of this from my friends having similar issues to this, because it seems very common with immigrants to the country or people who just have a lot of family outside of the country. A lot of people in South America and Africa, where because the US dollar is still so strong compared to a lot of the other countries, even with all of our issues here right now, sending US dollars back to families in countries that are not doing as well as us is pretty common. From what I've seen with a lot of people's experiences is that this has kind of almost been turning into a scam with your own family.
If you're an immigrant, your family back home does not care about you unless you're sending money. That finally bit my mom in the butt. For the month of April, she did not send money back home. Nobody's starving. Everybody has their needs met. Plus, we do have other family in the US that sends money monthly too. My mom did not send money this month because she had surgery. And even though she has insurance, you guys know what the American healthcare system is like. She has a lot of outstanding bills that she had to pay this month, like anesthesiology and other stuff. Her family back home knew this, and I genuinely think she sends money because she wants to make sure that her mom's taken care of, but she is elderly. And guess what? Nobody checked up on her after surgery. The calls have dwindled down, and she had to reach out, and then when she asked to speak to her mom, she only got like 5 minutes of time with her mom.
So right off the bat, I'm not saying that this happens to 100% of people. I've just been seeing more and more stories online about this now, that people who would regularly send money back from the US would get calls saying that, oh, I needed an extra couple $100 because I need to move out of this like really bad area, or I don't have enough money to eat. And then people from the US would send money back and they'd never move out of the area that they said was, you know, terrible to live in, or any of the excuses that they made to get extra money. A lot of people's own family members are getting scammed nowadays. That's like a next level one to me, because the people who sell courses that don't really help people or any of the MLM stuff, you're basically just scamming strangers, but these are your own family, and it's still happening now. Now we're going to start getting into a lot of the YouTuber sponsorship scams that have been popping up more and more, because in-video sponsors are very prevalent today, and I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. It's just the vetting isn't really the best right now. So there's been a few issues that have popped up in the past year or so, like this.
Today we're talking about a bank promoted by YouTubers that's now become a casino, and users can't get their money out.
This video is sponsored by Yotta Savings.
Yotta, Y-O-T-T-A?
Yotta Savings?
The Yotta Savings app, maybe you saw a couple people talk about this.
Hey, my name's Daniel. My wife and I, our family has 18,000 in Yotta that we can't get out.
Over $60,000 frozen up in Yotta.
A few years ago, Yotta Savings advertised itself as a no-lose lottery through YouTubers, where you'd get a lottery ticket by saving money rather than spending it. It's called gamified savings, and some took it beyond a sponsorship and bought equity in the company because they liked the idea that much. The most viral example of this was Graham Stephan, who claimed that I bought a bank. 2 years later, when I checked back in on Yotta and found customers' accounts have been frozen and their website looked more like a casino than a no-lose lottery. On their app, Yotta now offers roulette, dice, blackjack that you can lose money on.
And this isn't the only issue that has been an in-video sponsor for a lot of YouTubers. And I will say right off the bat, I don't believe that really any of these YouTubers were intentionally trying to scam their own viewers. Like, why would you're just shooting yourself in the foot. However, the vetting for a lot of these sponsorships, especially with the amount of money some of these people will end up taking just for 30 seconds of their video or 60 seconds, is probably not the greatest, because we have the Yotta Bank, which is a big one recently. Another one that a lot of people have probably heard about is established titles. That was something where you were able to technically become a lord if you bought a small plot of land in Scotland through this company, Established Titles. And it was more of like a gift thing where you get like a plaque and you could be like Lord Zach or whatever, right? But then people started looking into it more, and it was just a huge scam. It wasn't actually legitimate. You weren't a lord. You were just paying a decent amount of money. I think it was like almost $100 for it, for just a plaque for somebody to say that you're Lord Zach now. So a lot of people got heat for that. I remember there were issues with BetterHelp, and BetterHelp was one of them, that you were able to do therapy online, like basically Zoom calls with a therapist instead of having to go to some office. You know, it was a lot easier, especially during COVID. You weren't allowed to really go out, or all the mask mandates and whatever. But then people started looking into that one more, and even some of these therapists were just not qualified to do it. They were almost to the level of just like talking to me on a Zoom call, and we were just going back and forth. I wasn't a licensed therapist, never did like psychology or got my degree or any of that. And that happened a few years ago. But even so recently as the video that I showed you talking about Iman, Spencer Cornelius' video, he was sponsored by BetterHelp. So I remember watching videos about the scandal a while ago. My guess is that BetterHelp has now fixed its issues and now all have licensed therapists, and hopefully everything is on the up and up, because I don't believe that somebody like Spencer would still sponsor a company that was technically scamming a lot of its customer base, because that's basically the entirety of his channel, to snuff that kind of stuff out. But there's a lot of that going on. Even though my channel isn't some massive, I don't have 1 million subs, I'm still getting emails from companies for in-video paid sponsorships. And if you watch all my videos, I haven't done any of them yet, because I've looked up a couple of them that have sent me their products and what they want me to do in the videos, and I would look into their companies, and it just would not benefit you guys if you decided to sign up for the product or the service that they were wanting me to talk about to you guys. And I'm not saying that anybody who does an in-video sponsor is a terrible person or they're all scams. Like, I have been using VPNs for I would say even more than probably like 5 years now. I would say even before COVID. It works great. I love it. I use it all the time. I'd say another big one is Manscaped. I see a lot of people get sponsored by that. I have that too. I mean, it's just a shaver. I don't think it would really be too problematic or have any issues unless like the shaver didn't work, but I have that and I use it regularly. So it's not like all of these sponsored ads are guaranteed a scam, but there are a few that slip through the crack and have a little controversy within the YouTube community. I also want to say that it's not like 100% of YouTubers that sell courses or have those groups are going to 100% scam you. Some of them are pretty bad, like we've seen earlier in this video, but I was a part of a Discord group from a sneaker YouTuber named Keith Adam for years during COVID, and that was basically the reason why I was a full-time sneaker reseller and was able to do that for a living. His Discord group Endurance was $60 a month and made me literally thousands because of how much information he had updates every single day on shoes. We were able to get sneaker bots on the computer, like bulk discounts. There was nothing but monitors. Like, it was a very, very good service and 100% worth the $60 a month. Now, with the sneaker market collapsing right now, it's probably not the best idea to really do any of that anymore, but he did not scam anybody. That was a service that was 100% worth it. It was probably one of the best in the business at the time and made a lot of people a substantial amount of money. So it's not like every one of these people are out to get you. It's just you have to start weeding out some of the content creators that don't really have the best products or service to sell you. They're just trying to make the money off of you buying their service or their course without actually having a product that is good enough to spend your money on. And the last one I wanted to talk about is one that almost happened to me about a month ago, because some of the oldest scams in the book that we've heard about for decades now are the email scams, the phone scams, and that is just as prevalent now, because if you look at the news, it seems like every couple weeks some sort of company gets their data breached and a whole bunch of people's information, you know, usernames, passwords, addresses, all of that gets leaked. And then other companies, it's just completely legal to buy and sell people's personal information to try to get better ads, and just goes all over the place. Everybody's information's out everywhere. So I still get spam calls regularly all the time. That has not changed at all. When I used to live with my parents, my dad would read the police blotter, and every single time there would be several people who were honestly just very old people still getting scammed by phone scammers with, you know, them impersonating a bank and all the wire fraud issues and losing thousands of dollars, people trying to make it seem like they're their grandparents and they need money to get out of this country that they're in. All of those really old scams still work and people lose thousands from it. And the email scams are just as bad. There was one little over a month ago, somebody got into my PayPal account, which 100% had to have been some sort of data leak, because my password is just completely random. There's no way you could have guessed my password. It was 100% hacked. So somebody got in. I didn't have any actual money in my PayPal account, but I had my banks linked. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time on the 4th of July, somebody from France got into my account and tried to transfer $1,500 from my bank account to my PayPal and then take the money from the PayPal to his bank account that he linked on my account. And while that was happening, they took my email that was linked to my PayPal and spammed it with a whole bunch of those, you know, thanks for signing up for our email list, you know, our random website promotion, all that kind of crap spam. And he littered my email with it. And right in the middle of it was the email from PayPal saying, hey, you know, your $1,500 transfer will take X amount of days to do. And if you woke up and checked your email and saw a whole bunch of spam and you didn't go through it, you wouldn't have seen that email. So if you weren't paying attention, you would have lost $1,500. And especially being on the 4th of July, if you did catch it, some people would think, you know, oh, the banks are closed, I'm going to have issues, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And if they forget, boom, there's another way that they could get that $1,500. And I was definitely not the only person that they had my information. I bet they casted a wide net, had a whole bunch of people's information for PayPal, and most likely, for how clever that actually was, especially with it being at 3 o'clock in the morning on the 4th of July, and all the ways that he tried to mask it and for people not to notice, he most likely got away with it and made thousands of dollars off of people scamming. So this kind of stuff comes in all shapes and sizes, and I think will just get even worse. We could even go back and start talking about the pump and dumps with cryptocurrency. I don't really think NFTs are going to be coming back anytime soon. That was a big scam for a lot of 2020, 2021 era, but the cryptos has started to go back up in the past few months. You know, Bitcoin is kind of going all over the place, but still hit an all-time high a couple months ago. So there's more people shilling a whole bunch of altcoins and them still tanking. That's happening to this day. So even a lot of the scams that you would have known throughout the years are still prevalent to this day, along with people making up new ways to try to get money from you every single day. So hopefully you guys learned some things in this video, what to look out for and ways to protect yourself, because especially in the next couple years, I could see a lot of people getting scammed out of this just to make a little bit of money off of a side hustle and pay their bills. And a lot of people are vulnerable and desperate, and that's exactly what scammers prey upon. So YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on the screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.